Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Carmen and this is Avoiding Drama. Tonight we have a very interesting subject. We're going to be talking about 71 first dates. And also there's something regarding 2 inches. So please guys, sit down, get comfortable because we're going to be starting right back.
In a world full of noise, we find our way, seeking love and come what may. With wisdom to guide and stories to share, we'll navigate life without a care. Avoiding drama, we rise above, finding clarity with a heart full of love. Join our journey, let's find the light. Follow it.
Hi guys, we finally made it. We have a very interesting subject today. We're going to be talking about failed dates. Therefore, this episode is addressed to those guys who are dating. And ladies, yes, you need to be here because you need to listen to these stories. This is a very long subject, so I'm going to be dividing this into maybe 3 or 4 episodes. That depends on you guys. So please write down comments below. Today I'm going to be talking maybe only about 3 or 4 of my failed first dates, and we're going to be diving in a snap. Guys, the very first point is hygiene. That sounds like really very basic, but believe it or not, it's not basic for too many guys out there. I had first dates with, I don't know, maybe at least 3 or 4 guys who, when smiling, I could see all the food that they had eaten for the last maybe 2 or 3 days. It was simply disgusting. Guys who were smelly, who maybe had not changed clothes in a couple of days, and they just like that went to a first date. That's definitely so wrong. If you don't care about your hygiene, you should not be dating. There was another issue that doesn't have to do precisely with hygiene, but it's another problem that I faced when dating. I remember that I met a couple of guys, and I know that they had very good hygiene because they were really nice, clean cut. In fact, one of them was in the military, so he had really very nice short hair, clean cut, clean clothes. I could smell not only the soap on his body, I could smell the soap of his clean clothes. No, he looked nice. We had many things in common. We went out like about maybe 4 or 5 times, and at some point I trusted him enough as to invite him home to come home for dinner. We had a good time, we had dinner, nice conversation. 4 days after this date at home when we had dinner, I could notice that the sofa where he sat down still had this awful, foul, musky scent that I noticed that his body had since the very first date. He had this awful smell, and I remember that I told myself I don't want that smell in my sofa, and definitely I will never like that smell in my bed. So next time that he tried to communicate, or he communicated, I remember that I told him, you know what, I realize that I don't want to date, so I wish you good luck. You need to search somewhere else. Guys, if you notice, you need to be honest with yourself. If you notice that you have an unpleasant smell even after taking a shower. Guys, that is not normal. That is not normal. You need to see a doctor. That could be an hormonal problem, that could be an underlying medical problem, or that could be something as simple as the diet that you're following. But you need to see a doctor. Okay guys, this was the second problem that I had to face maybe more than 20 times. And this was very disrespectful, very disconcerting. Guys, I am aware that in this world, on planet Earth, there are more women than men. And I do know, I'm a very conservative woman. As a Latina, I'm very conservative. But in the United States where I live, no, I know that American women are a little bit more liberal. So on many occasions, they are the ones taking like the first step. And I do know, guys, that there are a lot of ladies communicating with you, and you want to meet all these ladies, and let me tell you, you need to meet them all. You need to meet them all. But you cannot pretend to meet them all on the same day. One of the most awful, disconcerting experiences that I had is having a guy sitting in front of me just looking at his watch because he had another appointment in another half an hour. If you want to meet a lady, you take a whole day to spend time with her and to definitely get to know her. If you don't have time for whatever reason to meet just one, maybe two ladies at a time in one day, let's say on a Saturday I meet this lady in the morning and then I meet another one in the afternoon, and on Sunday let's do exactly the same thing. If you're not able to do that, don't date at all. Don't date at all, because sitting down, feeling uncomfortable, restless, not listening to your partner or your date because you're thinking about that you need to be on time for your following your next date, that's like putting a rope around your neck. You're wasting your time. So don't you ever do that.
Dating is pressure and tension. What is a date really, but a job interview that lasts all night? Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay guys, let's go to the next failed first date that I had, and this one was awful. And even at the end, to be very honest, I was even feeling a little bit scared. And that's why ladies and guys as well know you need to be very careful to meet people at public places. I had been communicating with this guy. We had a lot of things in common. He enjoyed art as much as I do, and he enjoyed painting, even though he was starting to paint on canvas and painting with oil and using acrylics and stuff. He would show me his little masterpiece, and I could tell that he was definitely a talented person. He had talent. And it was very strange because we had been planning this meeting. We were planning to go out for dinner. I remember it was Tuesday evening. And then the day that we were supposed to go out for dinner, a few hours prior, he sent me a message saying that he was going to be late if he met me because there was this strange story that he had to go and see a friend who owed him a big amount of money and this and that and a lot of baloney. But I already had plans to go out, and I wanted to do something different, and The conversations that I had with this guy were really very interesting. So I said, no, you know what? I will always pay for my stuff, but just for this one, just this once, no, I'm willing to pay for whatever you consume. So he said, oh, okay, if you're willing to pay for my food, then let's go, let's meet. I remember that before getting inside the restaurant, just looking at this guy from far away, I could tell his problem. He was up to here with a cocaine addiction. He was definitely someone even few years younger than me, and he looked 15 years older than me. He looked terrible. And I remember that I began to feel kind of uncomfortable, but I tried to wear this big smile all the time. Guys, a matter of few minutes between we received our menus, no, and we ordered, he went to the bathroom 2 or 3 times, and he came back wiping off a little white powder on his nose. I said no. To be very honest, I felt like running away. But I was hungry and said, Carmen, breathe deeply. There's a lot of people around. So we had dinner. I enjoyed my dinner. I enjoyed my food at least. And I remember that he wanted to accompany me to my place. And I remember that I told him, you know what? Let's walk a little now, but you don't have to go to my door. I can do that by myself. He was feeling uncomfortable. I noticed that he was not looking for a partner. He was looking for someone with enough money to supply him with his vices. And that was a no. So guys, if you have addictions, you need to seek treatment. Okay guys, I know that some of you want to know what's the thing about inches. And about 2 inches, I'm going to tell you this story. This was with one of my dates, and I saw this not precisely with the guys that I dated, but in chats on the internet. I saw this so common, and definitely I need to bring this point because this is really very important, no? I had been communicating with this guy. He seemed to be really very nice, and the chemistry, and even though we did not meet before, we would look at each other now through camera on the web, and he was into details, no? And one of the things that he did that other people did not do, that I liked from him, we exchanged phone numbers, no? Something that I did not do before. We exchanged phone number, and during the day, every single day, he would send once or twice, he would send messages, no, like, beautiful lady, I hope that you're having a beautiful day, and how are you doing, and did you had a good night's sleep, and things like that. It was really very nice, little details, and I definitely applaud that. That definitely is beautiful. So we decided to meet at a restaurant, a pasta place. And I remember that as soon as I got there, he was already waiting. He got a few minutes before. And as soon as he saw me, his face changed a little bit. He got like a little bit more serious. But still, we had dinner and we had a nice conversation. And at least I enjoyed the time that I spent talking to this guy. But when we finished and we were leaving the pasta place, he looked at me once again, like from head to toe, and he said, Carmen, you know what, let's leave it here, because to be very honest with you, I wanted someone at least 2 inches taller. I looked at him, I felt really very disappointed, because I noticed that this guy was very shallow and vain. And I remembered not only how shallow he was also the double standard. What I say double standard? This guy was not the most handsome man on planet Earth. He was not. Definitely he was not. Another thing that I noticed before we started eating, I sent him to the bathroom. He looked clean. He had so much dirt underneath his fingernails. They were so dirty. And I remember making the observation, and he said, oh, Carmen, sorry, that I'm blind, I'm going blind. I said, going blind, but you take a shower and you do not clean your fingernails? And another thing that I said, okay, guys, there's a lot of double standard there. I had to be very patient with him because he stuttered. Stuttered is how you say, pronounce it. He was all the time, but he wanted someone 2 inches taller. So I remember that I looked at him and I said, you know what? I understand what you're saying. You want someone at least 2 inches taller. And I remember at the moment I looked down at his crotch and I said, and I want someone 2 inches longer. He turned white, and from the white he turned red. And then I said, you had the honor meeting me, sweetheart. Bye. Guys, if you want a Barbie, buy a plastic doll. A Barbie is not going to make you happy, because extremely beautiful women are into them. They are not into you. And I tell you that because I am a woman. They are into their hair, their makeup, the gym, their body and their fingernails and their shoes and their clothes and looking good. They're not into any man. They are not willing to make you happy. There's someone. There are people looking to find someone to buy and pay for the gym membership, for the hair salon, for the spa, for the fancy clothing and purses and bags and shoes. They're not into you. They're not going to make you happy. Okay, so that's all for today. There's a lot of stuff I definitely would like to cover once again. I had at least 71 first dates. Most of them were just failed first dates. There are not a lot of things that I would like to talk to you about, but for today, let's leave it here. Guys, comment below, please. Comment below. Let me know what you want me to talk about next time. Usually I will have a video on relationships, all sorts of relationships, on mostly personal, interpersonal relationships on Friday, and a different subject on Sundays. Sunday I may be talking about nature, I may be talking about self-care, self-growth. I may be talking about our spirituality, our relationship with God, even our relationship with our pets. No, so if you want to know more about personal interpersonal relationships, you need to listen to me every single Friday, but also listen to me on Sundays. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Be good.
Find our way, seeking love and come what may, with wisdom to guide and stories to share. We'll navigate life without a care. Avoiding drama, we rise above, finding clarity with a heart full of love. Join our journey, let's find the light. Following, avoiding drama, you'll be alright. Embrace the moment.